So we hear all the time that we should be building good habits and breaking bad ones. And in theory, that seems like a pretty easy thing to do. Just start doing all the good ones and just stopping the bad ones, and your life will change. But if it were that simple, everyone would do it. And there's a reason why so many people struggle with sticking with consistency, with sticking to good habits and breaking bad ones. And I've been doing this self-improvement thing for a while, and I feel like I've tried a lot of things in terms of techniques to break habits, but there's only one way that I've found that properly works, that actually guarantees that I stick to a habit. And instead of just, sticking to it for a few weeks, maybe a few months, and then just going back to old habits. And that quite literally is isolating the habit that you want to focus on. And when I mean that, if you're trying to work on multiple different things, 3, 4, 5 different things at once, you're going to get overwhelmed, and that's exactly how things break down. And even if you don't think it's multiple things, people want to eat better, but they try and completely change their diet overnight and wonder why they're back binge eating 2 weeks later. Because they go from 0 to 100 way too quick. And this is precisely the problem. You've got to, instead of trying to completely reinvent the wheel and go from 0 to 100, what I've found is breaking it down into the smallest possible step. So say, for example, you want to eat better. It might be, if you're a gym bro, you might just want to track your calories. And quite literally, that's what I did. I started tracking my macros, and that's all I did. Nothing else changed. I didn't change my eating, didn't do anything different. All I did was make the primary focus in my whole life to tracking my macros. And I focused on that for probably close to 3 months. It took me about 3 months to get from not doing it at all to getting into the habit of recording all my meals and making sure that everything I eat is recorded. Now, that's not eating any different. That's purely just recording it. Next, I decided to go online and buy digital scales and start weighing myself every morning. And that took another 2 months. So getting up every morning and weighing myself first thing in the morning. And that way I'm tracking my calories every day. I am also weighing myself every day. Those are 2 key parts of improving your diet that people don't think about. And people try and do all in once because, it's a little thing, it's easy. But when you try to do too many little things at once, it becomes a big thing. So next, you've got to, gradually just step up and keep moving forward and doing it the smallest thing possible. Doesn't matter how insignificant it seems. Assuming it's relevant to your goal, to the habit you want to build, it's going to help you because you're breaking down that seemingly large habit, that large piece of consistency, into tiny little pieces of consistency that you can work on over time and get really good at sticking to. Because it's definitely so much easier to only have to focus on weighing yourself once a day than it is weighing yourself, tracking your calories, getting your protein in, eating the right foods, all this stuff at the same time. It's much easier to break it down and get super consistent at it and lock that in as a habit and then move on to the next thing, the next small thing, rather than to just go straight to the massive big task of improving your eating and your health. That's a huge thing to do. And that almost guarantees, when I hear people say, I'm going to start eating better, I instantly dismiss it because the chances of them actually sticking to it beyond a few weeks is almost 0. And this goes for anyone. This isn't just a normal person thing. Even super successful people can't just reinvent the wheel overnight. It takes time to build systems and build habits. This is why you think it takes so many years to build a successful life. Because you got to spend these months and months building up these little habits, so much and so consistently until it becomes a significant thing. Because without realizing, you'll have these big significant things done. Because let's think, if you think about it, 2-3 months is nothing. It really is nothing. And when you are working towards something, it feels like you're actually making progress, even if it feels insignificant. And yeah, it may feel a bit weird, even if you may tell people, oh, I'm working on improving my health and fitness, or my eating. And they go, oh yeah, what are you doing? I've started weighing myself every day and done nothing different. People are gonna look at you funny. And that's okay, because it's not conventional, it's not what most people do, but it works. It literally works. I can guarantee you it works. If you focus on the smallest part, whether that's, I don't know, if you want to start making YouTube videos and, you may not record every day, but you may generate a new video idea every day. Or you may brainstorm some thumbnails. Or you might practice your speaking. Little things, the small little things that when compounded become super significant. Comment down below if you've had success with a different technique in building habits, because I'm actually curious to see how other people go about it and what kind of success you've had with it. Has it worked? Has it not? Are you still struggling with habits? Have you tried this sort of thing? But this is the only thing that I've tried amongst a bunch of other things that actually work and that I can stick to, and that I can continue building up habits without losing consistency and my other systems breaking down. Because that's the biggest thing. You can keep jumping from new habit to new habit to new habit, but if the previous ones aren't sticking, then it just defeats the purpose. So it's all about getting each habit you do, assuming you're doing the right ones, to stick. And then when you move on to the next one, then you've got 2 things that stick. Then you move on to the next one, then you've got 3, and so on. It's about just building the small blocks, putting the small building blocks in place to eventually have this massive, big accomplishment that a lot of people will be really impressed with. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap it up here. It's a pretty simple concept. Give it a try. Let me know in the comments if it works. If you're still at the end of the video, I love you. And remember, life is what you make it.